Sometimes in life, the hardest thing to do is nothing. We are trained to chase, to control, to force outcomes, and to hold on tightly to what we fear losing. But the truth is simple. The more you cling, the more life resists. The more you try to push destiny, the more the path twists and turns away from you. Because true alignment does not come from force, it comes from surrender. Detachment is not giving up. It is not apathy. It is not walking away from goals or people. Detachment means releasing the emotional grip that says, this must happen exactly how I want, when I want, or else. Life does not respond to pressure. It responds to energy. And when your energy is tense, anxious, fearful, or desperate, you block what is meant for you. But when you loosen your hold, when you stop begging life to move faster, everything begins to shift. The right people enter. The right ideas form. The right timing reveals itself. This is the quiet power of letting go. Not running, just releasing. Not quitting, just trusting. Not forcing, just flowing. You become like water, soft, but unstoppable. You become like nature, patient, but inevitable. Because everything meant for you is already moving toward you. But it cannot land in hands that are clenched tight with fear. It needs space. It needs openness. It needs faith. So breathe. Unclench your jaw. Relax your spirit. Life is not against you. It is arranging itself for you. But alignment requires space, stillness, and trust. The moment you stop chasing is the moment what's truly yours begins to move closer. Detach, and let life do what it has been waiting to do. Now let's begin with the illusion of control. From the moment we grow into consciousness, we are taught that life must be controlled. We're told, plan everything, secure everything, predict everything. And so, without even noticing, the mind becomes a machine of expectations. We begin to think that peace comes from managing every outcome. We believe destiny needs our tight grip in order to work. But the truth is deeper, quieter, and sometimes uncomfortable. The more we try to control life, the more life slips through our fingers. Control is a human illusion, a shield we build to protect ourselves from uncertainty. But uncertainty is not the enemy. It is the birthplace of possibility. Everything beautiful in life arrives through a door we do not see. Not through force, not through fear, but through flow. Why do we cling so hard? Because the mind fears loss. It fears the unknown. It fears timing that doesn't match our expectations. When something feels uncertain, the mind begins to panic. What if I lose it? What if it fails? What if it doesn't work out? So we overthink, we rush, we push, we force, hoping that pressure will create direction. But pressure creates resistance, not alignment. In Rastafari reasoning, there is a simple truth. Nothing that belongs to you can ever pass you. The path of Jah is not chaos. It is order disguised as mystery. What you chase blindly may not be yours, and what is yours does not need chasing. Life knows what we do not. Sometimes the door is closed not because you are unworthy, but because the path ahead is not ready. Sometimes delays are not punishments. They are protection. Sometimes what you want is too small, and life is trying to replace it with something greater. Yet the human ego resists this. It wants answers now. It wants certainty now. It wants results now. But real alignment asks something harder. Patience, openness, and trust. Think about nature. A seed does not force itself to sprout. A river does not strain to flow. The sun does not rush its rising. Everything unfolds in its own time, and nothing is late. But when a human wants something, love, purpose, success, clarity, suddenly we believe we must grab, cling, control, prove, and hold on tightly as if life owes us guarantees. And that is where suffering begins. Detachment is the antidote. Not distance, not indifference, but freedom from the need to control how life must unfold. It is saying, I will give effort, but I will not beg. I will care, but I will not cling. I will move forward, but I will not panic if the path curves. Because alignment is not created through tension. It happens when the heart is grounded, the mind is open, and the spirit is surrendered. Life becomes lighter when we stop gripping it by the throat and instead walk with it, side by side. When you finally understand that you don't need to chase what is already meant for you, a deep peace rises within you. A knowing, a calmness, a quiet confidence. And in that peace, life begins to arrange itself. not because you forced it, but because you allowed it. Trusting the timing of life. There is a season for everything under the sun. A time to begin and a time to wait. A time to plant and a time to harvest. But many people want harvest in the season of planting and clarity in the season of preparation. So they rush the process, not knowing that rushing destroys what patience would have perfected. Trusting the timing of life is one of the greatest spiritual disciplines. Because timing is not random. Timing is intelligence. Things unfold when they are ready, when you are ready, and when the world around you has shifted into alignment. But the mind, especially in this fast modern world, hates waiting. Waiting feels like failure. Silence feels like rejection. Stillness feels like stagnation. Yet spiritually, silence is where guidance forms, and patience is where growth happens. Rastafari teaches that Jah is never late, but humans are often impatient. We want shortcuts to destiny, but destiny is not a race. It is a path of becoming. The things you desire, the love, the opportunities, the breakthroughs, they are not only about receiving. They are also about transforming you into someone who can carry them with wisdom. Sometimes life delays what you want because if it arrived too early, you would misuse it, misunderstand it, or walk away from it without knowing its worth. You cannot rush what is meant to teach you. When a cocoon is forced open, the butterfly's wings never develop. When a fruit is picked too early, its sweetness never forms. In the same way, if your blessing comes before you are strong enough to hold it, it will slip away. So instead of saying, "Why is it taking so long?" ask, "What is this season preparing me for?" Because every delay has meaning. Maybe the relationship hasn't arrived because you're still healing old wounds that once made you cling or settle. Maybe the opportunity has not manifested because the version of you needed to succeed is still developing. Maybe the path is quiet because the noise would distract you from what matters. When life pauses, it's not always a no. Sometimes it's a gentle whisper, "Not yet." And there is peace in trusting that. Look at nature again, the foundation of Rastafari wisdom. The bamboo plant spends years growing underground before it rises. The lion waits silently before the perfect moment to move. Nothing in creation is rushed, yet everything is accomplished. So breathe deeply and let this truth rest in your heart. You are not behind. You are not late. You are exactly where you need to be. Life is arranging people, timing, lessons, and energy behind the scenes. Just because you cannot see movement does not mean there is none. The seed does its greatest work in darkness long before it breaks the ground. So trust the unseen. Trust the silence. Trust the slow seasons. The day will come when everything aligns, and when it does, you will realize why it could not have happened a moment sooner. Because Jah's timing is perfect, and the life meant for you is already on its way. Most people don't realize this. Life responds more to the vibration you carry than the words you speak or the actions you force. When your energy is restless, anxious, or desperate, you are pushing things away without even knowing it. But when your spirit is calm, truly calm, life begins to shift in ways you cannot always explain. Inner stillness is not emptiness. It is alignment. It is the moment when your thoughts, emotions, and spirit stop fighting each other and begin moving in the same direction. Stillness is where clarity forms. Stillness is where intuition speaks. Stillness is where the voice of Jah becomes audible, not as thunder, but as a quiet knowing. But many people never experience stillness because their minds are constantly in motion, replaying the past, worrying about the future, comparing themselves to others, or trying to control outcomes that are not theirs to control. They confuse movement with progress, noise with life, and activity with purpose. Yet the most powerful transformations often happen not through effort, but through presence. Think of a lion. A lion does not overthink. A lion does not panic. A lion does not chase everything it sees. It waits, steady, focused, patient, because its confidence comes from knowing it is already enough. The lion's stillness is not weakness, it is mastery. In Rastafari teachings, this is called livity, a way of being where your life is not shaped by fear or rush, but by balance, awareness, and natural rhythm. When the body is racing and the mind is loud, Jah's guidance feels distant. But when the spirit becomes still, life begins to speak. Inner stillness teaches you. Not everything requires a reaction. Not every thought deserves attention. Not every feeling needs instruction. Not every situation needs control. When you are still inside, you stop chasing answers and start receiving them. People think blessings arrive through effort alone, but many blessings arrive through frequency. When your energy is peaceful, grounded, and centered, opportunities recognize you. The right people feel drawn to you. Solutions appear without force. Why? Because peace is magnetic. Calm is powerful. Faith has gravity. Inner stillness creates space. And in that space, life can reorganize itself. So take a moment and ask yourself, when was the last time I sat in silence without reaching for a distraction? When was the last time I breathed deeply and simply existed, without planning, without worrying, without thinking ahead? Stillness is not something to escape into. It is something to cultivate. Through meditation, through nature, through prayer, through breath. Even the simple act of stopping before reacting is a step toward alignment. When your spirit becomes still, you stop trying to chase life, and instead, life begins to flow toward you. Because inner peace tells the universe, and Jah himself, I am ready, I am open, I trust the path. And once you reach that level of inner calm, you no longer need to force anything. What is meant for you will not miss you. There comes a point in every journey where holding on does more harm than letting go. A point where the emotional grip, the mental tension, the constant what if becomes a chain instead of protection. Many people struggle with letting go because they believe releasing something means losing it forever, but often, letting go is what finally allows what is meant to stay. Letting go is not abandoning your dreams or walking away from what matters. It is releasing the fear, the desperation, and the tight control over how and when things must happen. It is stepping back with trust instead of stepping forward with force. Have you ever noticed that when you stop chasing people, the right ones stay? When you stop overthinking a solution, clarity suddenly appears. When you stop fearing loss, life begins to give. That is not coincidence. That is spiritual law. Attachment creates tension. Tension blocks flow. Flow is where alignment happens. Rastafari teaches that the things of Jah are natural. They come with ease, peace, and inner knowing. What is forced, begged for, or manipulated never carries the energy of destiny. Babylon teaches the opposite. Chase, fight, compete, cling. But true spiritual maturity is knowing that force is a sign of fear and patience is a sign of faith. Letting go is an act of trust. Trust in yourself. Trust in the timing. Trust in the higher order guiding your path. When you release what is not aligned, you make space for what is. Some things are meant to leave because they have served their purpose. Some relationships exist only to teach, not to stay. Some dreams evolve as you evolve. And some situations end not because you failed, but because you outgrew them. So instead of asking, why did this leave? Ask, what is this clearing space for? Life cannot bring new blessings to hands already full of fear, doubt, or attachment. To receive, you must create space, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. When you let go, you stop begging life to behave a certain way. You stop forcing outcomes that are not ready. You stop shrinking yourself to keep what no longer fits. And something shifts deep within you. A quiet confidence replaces anxiety. You begin to trust that even if something falls away, something better aligns. Not because you demanded it, but because you allowed it. Letting go is not a loss. It is a recalibration. It is choosing peace over panic, wisdom over fear, alignment over attachment. When you release what is no longer meant for your journey, the universe naturally fills the space with what is. Opportunities that once seemed distant begin to appear. People who match your energy begin to enter. Doors that were closed begin to open. Not because you forced them, but because your spirit is ready. So loosen your grip. Exhale. Stop holding life hostage. What is meant for you will stay effortlessly. What is not will drift away, and that too is a blessing. Letting go is the bridge between who you were and who you are becoming. When you finally learn to detach, not from life, but from the fear of life, something powerful awakens inside you. You stop rushing. You stop forcing. You stop fighting battles that were never yours to carry. Instead, you begin to flow, and flowing is not passive. It is intelligent. It is sacred. It is alignment. Living in the flow means you trust the journey even when you cannot see the destination. It means you walk forward with intention, but without fear. You put in effort, but you do not cling to outcomes. You open your heart, but you no longer beg for validation, approval, or guarantees. In this state, life becomes softer. Even challenges feel different, not punishment, but refinement. Obstacles become teachers. Delays reveal lessons. Silence becomes guidance. And instead of resisting what life brings, you begin to work with it. Rastafari teaches that life is not random. Life is ordered. There is a rhythm, a timing, a divine current flowing through all things. When you stop swimming against it, you discover strength you never knew existed. You begin to feel supported, not by chance, but by purpose. Living in the flow means waking up with gratitude, even if everything is not perfect yet. It means trusting that every step, every breath, every delay, and every shift is preparing you for something greater. It means knowing that Jah has not forgotten you. Jah is shaping you. So look at your life now. Where are you forcing? Where are you clinging? Where are you afraid to release what no longer fits your spirit? Breathe. Let the shoulders soften. Let the jaw unclench. Let the heart relax. You don't need to chase what's meant for you. You don't need to fear losing what is aligned. You don't need to control the entire path. All you need is presence, trust, and openness. Life is always speaking, through intuition, through experiences, through timing. When you are calm and detached, you can hear it clearly. When you are anxious and gripping tightly, everything becomes noise. So today, make this choice: to live lighter, to trust deeper, to flow instead of force. Because alignment begins the moment you stop trying to manipulate life and start allowing life to unfold. Now, carry this truth with you. What is meant for you will find you, not through struggle, but through resonance. Not through fear, but through faith. Not through force, but through flow. Trust your journey. Trust your timing. Trust the alignment already in motion. Detach, and let life show you what has always been yours.